this episode, I want to talk about meeting Anne Hathaway, the Devil Wears Prada 2 cast, at the red carpet London premiere and reviewing the film's soundtrack. Welcome back to the Concert Girl podcast. I'm Mia and I'm the host of this show. I've gone to 20 concerts and shows throughout 2 years, and I wanted a podcast that spoke about music, concert experiences, reactions, and more, including premiere experiences, because that's exactly what we're unpacking today. This podcast is all about music, entertainment, and pop culture, from pop to R&B, jazz to rock, and from EDM to K-pop. A little bit about me. I've spent some time in the media communications, social media, fashion, and online publication industries for nearly 5 years. And along the way, I've learned that music as well as film is a passion of mine. And for the past 2 years, I've gone to 20 concerts, as well as movie premieres. And if you're navigating something similar, you're not alone. On the Concert Girl podcast, you'll hear unfiltered conversations, interviews with new upcoming music artists sharing their stories and journeys. Hear from influential professionals working in the music and entertainment industry, fan reactions and commentaries on the latest albums, new music, as well as film. Some episodes will be practical, some will just be reflective, and some will just be real. And yes, we'll talk about things people usually don't say out loud. And if you're a music fan, then this space is for you. Let's get into it. This time, I'll be talking about the Devil Wears Prada 2 movie London experience of the premiere, my interviews and interactions with the cast, as well as reviewing the film's soundtrack. I just came back from my trips to Milan and New York recently, and let's just say I was immersed further in the fashion runway world. So on the 12th of November 2025, the film's teaser trailer was released, and it got me so excited to see the second film. I've rewatched the first film so many times, and pun intended, I've worked in the fashion industry, so it felt so surreal watching it. I remember reading the first book, and I also have my paperback novel on my bookshelf, and I really adored reading the book, especially since it had some similarities and some differences to the movie. And when I heard there was going to be a sequel, I had to attempt to meet the cast at the London premiere. After the 12th of November, a second teaser trailer was released on February the 2nd, followed by a final trailer released on April the 6th, 2026. These promotional trailers were being released before the film's theatrical release date, which was on May the 1st, 2026. I kept rewatching the film trailers, prepared myself by also reading Revenge Wears Prada book, and keeping up to date with trends relating to recent social media searches and also merch. Brands like Google Pixel, Samsung, Diet Coke, Lancome, and many other brands had collaborations with the Devil Wears Prada too, including merchandise licensing deals with like Bershka and product placements throughout the movie. So it's really iconic to also see familiar brands mentioned like Chanel, Dior, and as well as Gucci. And for those of you who might have forgotten the synopsis of the first film, it's about a main character called Andrea, also known as Andy Sachs, who's recently graduated from Northwestern University, and she applies for her first job after graduating. And she applies for a role working at Alias Clark publication under the Runway brand, working as Miranda Priestly's second assistant. Miranda is considered as a highly influential woman in the publication industry, as she's also the editor-in-chief of Runway, which is a fashion magazine. Andy's first stage interview is with HR, but her second stage interview is with Miranda Priestly herself. And in the beginning of the movie, she was escorted by Emily Charlton, who's Miranda's first assistant, now promoted to a senior assistant. And the company needed a second assistant to manage the errands for Miranda. So Andy has her interview with Miranda, and during her interview, she's judged by not knowing who Miranda Priestly is, but she also generally provided a portfolio of her university publication credits. Miranda says that's all to her, But Andy stops and says she's willing to go above and beyond, especially if she's given a chance. She does get ignored by Miranda as she's quite a busy individual and just says bye and leaves the office building. Andy thinks she doesn't have a chance, but then Emily comes back to the office lobby and she confirms that she's been offered the job, meaning Andy. Then the story just continues, and it's definitely a great movie to watch, especially like the acting, the cast, the writing, the whole production, to also iconic music selection and pop culture references that are always used. And the music in the first movie will always be memorable, like the opening song, Suddenly I See by Katie Tunstall, and also Madonna's song Vogue, which I'll always remember because of Andy's change of outfits of the week. Then when I heard they were announcing The Devil Wears Prada 2, I just started reading Revenge Wears Prada. However, the second book doesn't follow the sequel and it's a completely different story. However, I did enjoy reading the second book as we got to see Emily and Andy become friends and their lives after Runway, and both of them running their own wedding magazine publication, as well as the lessons learned, and Miranda making her own appearance in the book too. I do get why the second movie isn't based on the book, but if you haven't seen The Devil Wears Prada 2, so definitely go ahead and watch it and feel free to jump back. But yes, so to prepare myself even more on the sequel, I also went to see the amazing Broadway show of The Devil Wears Prada in London's Theatre District in Tottenham Court Road. And Miranda Priestly was played by none other than Vanessa Williams, who played an also awesome Miranda. And you also remember her from playing the evil editor-in-chief of the fashion magazine called Mode. And her character was called Wilhelmina from the TV show Ugly Betty. That show she was actually just giving Miranda vibes, so she perfectly played the Broadway character amazingly. I thought Emily and Nigel's acting was spot on, and also Andy was great too, but I felt like a real fashion show with also all the cool, beautiful fashion outfits. And the music for the show was created by Elton John. I did feel the music could have been more on theme and more memorable. However, overall, it was a fun London musical theatre experience. And if you haven't gone yet, it's a great one to watch. Experience. I started queuing early and wore my corporate yet Devil Wears Prada 2 coded outfit, which was this oversized blazer with a red dress, black tights, as well as my Michael Kors shoes, along with my Vogue tote bag. I also brought along my film posters, along with my Devil Wears Prada book, as well as my Revenge Wears Prada book as well. The setting of the movie premiere had all red carpet, a lot of black and white backgrounds, so it was on the movie theme. The first person I got to meet was Simone Ashley, and she was really lovely. I even told her I loved Bridgerton as well as Devil Wears Prada too, and she signed my poster twice, and I managed to get an exclusive video of her, which I'll show now. Oh my God, Simone, I love Bridgerton and I love Devil Wears Prada. I also got two signatures of hers, which actually look like this on one of my movie posters, which is so iconic. So it was so nice of Simone Ashley to sign my Devil Wears Prada 2 poster. Then the next actor I met was Sir Kenneth Branagh, and he portrayed Miranda's newly appointed husband. I loved his acting in the Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets, as well as his acting in the Hercule Poirot movies, especially since I love Agatha Christie's stories. I also got a cool exclusive video with him, as well as pictures. I love all your movies, including like the Hercule Poirot ones and Harry Potter and Devil Wears Prada. Thank you. Which is so iconic. Then I met Caleb Heron, who portrayed one of Miranda's other assistants in the movie. He was really nice and he also just said hi to the fan. I then spoke to the director of the movie, And I really appreciated his art, especially directing the first two movies, which was David Finkel. And I also met the screenwriter, Aileen Brosh McKenna, so Miss McKenna. And I've got some signatures of when they signed my poster. So some of the signatures are somewhere on the poster, which was so cool. Sorry, can you sign mine? Sorry, after meeting some of the production teams and cast members, I also got to meet the following leading cast, which started with Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Meryl Streep, and Stanley Tucci. So meeting Anne Hathaway was a surreal experience. She wore this beautiful long dress with a high ponytail, looking very elegant and classy. I told her I loved The Princess Diaries as well as The Devil Wears Prada. I was so starstruck, which meant I was so nervous. And I was in the fans' pens, which is the area where all the fans are standing in order to get autographs as well as pictures with the cast. And the guy behind me was trying to push in, and Anne was so lovely. She even told him to step back as she wanted a picture with me, as she knew I was so nervous. She even signed my poster too, which was so cool. Yeah, it's on one of those signatures, but yeah, it was so cool that Anne actually signed my poster and she took a selfie with me. And she also said hi on the camera as well, which I'll show in the clip now. I love The Princess Diaries. Can I get a selfie as well?
This is for you from Ukraine. And
yeah, so she was so lovely, and the scene just generally reminded me of the movie The Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement, especially with the song Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson. When that scene in The Princess Diaries where there's these boys who are teasing the little girl and Mia's there who helps a young girl. So it was such a surreal experience, like from one Mia to meeting Princess Mia. And I wanted to tell her that I also worked in the fashion industries, but it was such a quick moment. But I did see Anne the next day and she did say hi to me on camera. Then the next actress I met was Emily Blunt, and she had nice curls. She had this diamond necklace and wore a beautiful red dress. She was really nice as well, and I got videos with her that made her laugh, which I'll show in the clip now. I love that word harder. Does human resources have a fun sense of humor? But I tried to get a selfie with her, but she walked really fast. Hopefully the next time I do see her, because she's one of my favorite characters from The Devil Wears Prada 2, especially with her sarcasm and her wit. So seeing both Anne and Emily was just such a surreal experience, and they were so lovely. Followed by Emily, I then met Stanley Tucci, who played the witty Nigel in The Devil Wears Prada 1 and 2. My interaction with him was very quick, since he mainly signed posters, but there was a lot of security blocking him from certain picture moments. But I do have a signature on the poster somewhere, which is so cool. And I kept calling him Nigel, even though I knew he was Stanley Tucci, but it was just so cool. I kept saying Nigel. But yeah, it was so cool. Oh my God, Nigel.
Thank you.
Then Meryl came up and everyone just started screaming. All the cameras were up for the Miranda Priestly. And I wanted a selfie with her, but I got some exclusive video contents of her. I even said to her that's all, and she was just smiling and laughing while she was iconically signing both my poster as well as the exclusive, my paperback copy of The Devil Wears Prada of the first book. So she actually signed it, which was pretty cool. So I'm just showing you on camera that this is my official signed copy by Meryl Streep, which is so amazing. So yeah, it was really cool seeing her.
Yes, Meryl, please. I have a pen.
Can you sign my book?
Meryl.
And yeah, like I saw the incredible Vanessa Williams afterwards, and she was just giving iconic Miranda Broadway, bringing her Broadway presence to London. Then my random celebrity encounters were interesting as well. So I got pictures with Jonah and Dre, who were king, and I told him I loved his portrayal in The Little Mermaid, as well as I Know What You Did Last Summer. I also saw Baby Doobie, especially after seeing her performance during Sabrina Carpenter's BTS show last summer. And I also got pics of the iconic Donatella Versace. After the movie premiere's red carpet experience, I headed to the runway exhibition in Trafalgar Square in London. It was so cool how they made the National Gallery look similar to the Met Museum. And I actually visited the Met Museum twice in New York, once last year as well as this year on my trip, so it was such a surreal experience. I also managed to get the exclusive Vogue US cover as well, which was the Miranda meets Anna, which is such a cool Vogue magazine. And I really wanted to get this signed, but the copy came late. So, but yeah, it was so cool getting to see actually Miranda's. And yeah, like I really loved reading this magazine issue, and I loved how Vogue played a role in promoting The Devil Wears Prada too. So that was so cool having this exclusive cover of Vogue US. And then over the weekend, I watched the second movie, and my thoughts were that it was funny. I loved how they made references to the first movie, and I love the cast that were back as well as they introduced new characters. I always feel like the first movie will always be the best for me, especially because of the way they did the cinematography, and I don't know, it feels special to me, the first movie as always. However, I did think the second movie was based on a lot of what's going on in the publishing, technology, as well as business industries. So I do understand that not everything was going to be the same post 20 years of the first movie. The other thing I did really want from Meryl Streep was for her character of Miranda to be even more sassy and more strict with Andy, because in the second movie she seemed a little bit more toned down and more nice. But I like it when her character in the first movie she's more strict, so it just makes it interesting contrast sort of thing. But I did enjoy the second movie. And yeah, so reviewing the film's soundtrack, I did enjoy the music, especially with the iconic Madonna song, which is Vogue. Such a catchy, on-theme fashion tune. I always listen to it on my day to the office sort of thing. I've also got this as my walking to work song to channel my inner runway kind of vibe. And another new song of mine was Runway by Lady Gaga and Doechii. Such a catchy sort of song. I like how it's got a bit of pop, bit of rap, and I like how it was used in the movie and movie trailers as well. So it's a different sort of vibe they gave to this film. And after both my red carpet as well as my cinema experiences, I channeled my fashion energy further. I traveled to Milan, where I got to see the Galleria of designer shops, including Prada. Recently, I just went to New York City and explored the movie locations of The Devil Wears Prada, as well as shopping settings. And also, Ocean's 8 was filmed in the Met Museum, so that was really cool rewatching that. And I headed back into London, given my work in affiliated within the fashion world and exploring things further. Overall, I enjoyed the Devil Wears Prada 2 London premiere, watching the New York premiere on Disney Plus, as well as getting to meet the cast members and experiencing the film locations in real life. The idea I want to leave with you today is this. In a world that's always online, music and live experiences pulls us back into the moment. If this podcast resonates with you, I want you to know that this podcast is a two-way conversation. Feel free to leave feedback and questions in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this episode, please follow the podcast, leave a review, or send it to someone who needs it. You can find me across all socials to see more behind the scenes content and follow the journey. And I would love to hear what brought this up for you today. Thank you for being here. Like, seriously, this is just the beginning. And ask yourself, where has music as well as film taken you lately? So until then, I'm letting the mic drop. Thanks for listening and tune in soon.
Take it slow, this is where the chill vibes go.